Yo, what's up guys? We're back with another video today, and in today's video, I want to talk about UFC fighters with the most underrated resume, right? So these are the guys that are people know about, but they don't have the recommendation or the credibility of the guys they being, right? And there's a good amount of people that you're gonna see on this list, right? So without further ado, let's get into them. Belal, remember the name Muhammad. Listen, Belal Muhammad, he actually has low-key an underrated resume, right? Before he beat Leon Edwards, I would have said he had a decently underrated resume, but I wouldn't have said it was the best. But nowadays, I think it's pretty underrated, right? Leon Edwards, he's being former champion. Gilbert Burns, title contender. Damian Maia, he's a old school veteran, a really good fighter back in the day. Vicente Luque, that one's kind of not aged that well, guys, I'm not gonna lie, but it was a solid win back in the day. It was a solid win. Vicente Luque as prime was pretty good. Who knows, he may be on another title run, boys. But Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Sean Brady, that one's aged very well. Any TKO'd him. How do you get TKO'd by Belal Muhammad? In all seriousness, I love Belal Muhammad, but how do you get TKO'd by him? Come on. But this is I feel like people discredit Belal Muhammad a lot. People hate him a lot. They don't like him because he's boring. It is somewhat fair, I'm not gonna lie, but I listen. His fights are boring. As a Belal Muhammad fan, I do agree, but I still like Belal Muhammad because he's just funny. He plays the heel a lot. He knows people don't like him and he plays it. But that aside, he's got a really underrated resume. I mean, 5 of his wins right now, out of the 6, are from the top 10, and most are top 15. And they're still fighting and they're still highly ranked. The lowest one is Vicente, and he was about to be out of the rankings, but he may be on a title run. Like I said again, boys. There's not much more I can say. And he'll probably school Shavkat, I think so, guys. I think he's gonna. Alright, the next person we have is Merab Dvalishvili. I just said his name wrong. I don't care, guys, right? I'm sorry. With Merab, here's the thing. Dude has been 4 champions, which is just crazy to just casually do. And 3 of these wins, by the way, were before he became a champion, right? He beat Henry Cejudo, Petr Yan, and Jose Aldo, all at the same time, by the way. And before he became a champion, sorry I just burped, guys. And then he beat Sean O'Malley, who was also a champion. And he also has been Marlon Moraes. Listen, Marlon Moraes, nowadays is not good at all. But back in the day, guys, back in the good old days, he was a legitimately solid, really high-level fighter. It's just once he fought some guys who had knockout power, I think Davison, it's just when Davison Figueiredo, knocked him out, that his chin just went bye-bye. It just went Dricus du Plessis. Mate, I never said that I beat some of the greatest middleweights in the UFC history. I just said that I beat some elite middleweights. Totally, completely different statement right there, brother. That's not what I could honestly see DDP saying that, guys. But here's the thing with DDP. I don't understand how this guy is. First of all, I don't understand how this guy's winning, because he fights so terrible, and he still does, even though he's the champion. I wasn't impressed when he beat Adesanya, but at the same time I don't understand what it is with DDP. His style just makes no sense. It makes no understanding of how he beats all these technical strikers, all these whale bear strikers in him, and because he just fights terrible. He really does. And people said that back in the day. The only thing he's improved upon, guys, is his cardio, because he fixed his nose finally. And the moment he fixed his nose, boom, he becomes a champion. He beats Robert Whittaker, Sean Strickland, and Israel Adesanya. I think those are the back-to-back wins you could ever get in the UFC. Those are actually insane. And it's also even before he fought in the UFC, even before he became a champion, he had some solid wins. The Robert Whittaker one wasn't a championship fight. I don't even think that was a 5-rounder. I think that was a 3-rounder fight, which is crazy to think. Because I've always thought Robert Whittaker would always be a 5-rounder opponent, but no, not really. And even before then, he had a win over Darren Till. Like, I think having a win over Darren Till is a solid win. It's not like the craziest, but I feel like having a win over Darren Till is really good. And then he has a win over Derek Brunson. That was like the weirdest fight I've ever seen. Like, both guys were just completely gassed out, and Derek just gave up. It was so weird. I was just so puzzled watching that. I was like, what am I watching? Because, like, it was so weird. I feel like everyone else says that, like, agrees with me. Like, that was just a weird fight right there. But then he comes and beats Robert Whittaker by TKO. And then he goes, has a war with Sean Strickland, which is a very close fight. I personally think DDP won that fight. I know a lot of people think Sean Strickland did. But I've looked at that. I thought he won, like, I thought Dricus won 3 rounds. But they were very close. Don't get me wrong. The really close ones, I think, were, like, round 3. And I slightly gave that to DP. I think it was, like, the 3rd round. Though, I haven't rewatched the fight, guys. It's been a bit, but you get what I mean. And then he beats Israel Adesanya. Like, DDP was losing that fight, by the way. Like, I thought DDP was losing that fight, and then he just does a goofy takedown, and then just submits him. I don't understand with DDP. Like, it's so weird looking at these wins, because I feel like he's getting, like, fluke wins, but he's not. He's just winning these fights, like, because he's just good, and he just has plot armor. That's the thing with DDP. He literally just has plot armor, and I wouldn't be surprised if he were to, like, submit Kamzat because of the plot armor this guy has. Like, either Kamzat loses his undefeated record or DDP loses his plot armor. Whenever that fight happens, one of those guys' attributes is gonna go. Alright, now this one I feel like a lot of people weren't gonna expect to be on here. Brendan Royval. When it comes to Brendan Royval, guys, Brendan Royval, like, I feel like after that Pantoja loss, he got better. Like, he's gonna lose to Pantoja again 100%, but I feel like his skill set just got better after that, because he beat Brandon Moreno, his best win of his whole career, because Brandon Moreno at that time was, like, and still is, I'd say, a top contender and could arguably win the belt again. And for Brendan Royval to beat him, you know, that's pretty impressive. And he's beating Kai Kara France back in the day in the first round. That's aged extremely well. Beat Tim Elliott. He's kind of just a gatekeeper. He's like the Neil Magny of the flyweight division, but still, that's a pretty impressive one, I'd say. Nicholas, I mean, listen. Nicholas is good. I don't know why the UFC cut this guy. He only had a 2-fight losing streak and was, like, I think on, like, a 5 or 4-fight winning streak prior to that. I don't 100% remember, but I think Nicholas, I think he beat Manel Cap or something. I can't exactly remember. But, like, and he also beat Tyra. He took away the undefeated fighters, like, that's pretty impressive. I feel like taking away an undefeated fighters, like, is, I think, pretty impressive, no matter what their skill level is, because they're undefeated, you know? And, like, here's the thing. He can literally beat anyone, I feel like, I feel like he is the best flyweight outside of, like, Pantoja in the division right now, but he just can't beat Pantoja. I don't think he can ever. Maybe he can in, like, a 3rd fight, but I don't think so. I really don't think so, to be honest, guys. And he'll probably beat Kamzat because of plot armor, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, and the final person to be added on this list is Justin Gaethje. I'm not going to lie, guys. I wasn't thinking of putting him on here because, like, I was like, well, what's his only, like really best win? Dustin Poirier. But then I actually looked at his, like, wins because I haven't checked in a while. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, he beat Dustin Poirier, Rafael Fiziev, when Rafael Fiziev was on a run, Donald Cerrone. I mean, Donald Cerrone, I think that's the weakest person on here. But I'd say still, like, Donald Cerrone is a decent one to have. Tony Ferguson. Now, I feel like Tony Ferguson was in his prime, or just, I wouldn't say he was in his prime, but I feel like he was still at capability of fighting for the belt. And for Justin Gaethje to be the first guy to stop Tony Ferguson's winning streak is pretty impressive. Michael Chandler, I feel like Michael Chandler is a pretty solid win to have on your resume. And then Edson Barboza, like prime Edson Barboza. People forget, man. Prime Edson Barboza was genuinely amazing. Prime Edson Barboza was actually really, really, really good, man. He was so elite. He was so elite, man. But he never got to like fight for the title. But that aside, like Justin Gaethje, like the more I looked into his resume, the more I'm like, oh, this guy actually has like a solid resume. Like besides the Dustin Poirier win, he actually has like a lot of like good wins. So I don't know why I didn't think of that, and I just realized, oh, this guy has like good wins on his resume. I don't know what more to say besides that, to be honest with him. But guys, that is it for my UFC fighters with the most underrated resumes, right? Wait. But guys, that is it for me as far as covering UFC fighters with the most underrated resumes. So leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.